A blazing ball of fire lies deep underground. It's Earth's core. This colossal sphere of molten iron far beneath your feet is what made your life on Earth possible. Or did it? What if Earth formed without the scorching core in its center? Is a coreless planet even possible? How different would the Earth be without its core? And if it didn't exist, would you still be alive? This is What If, and here's what would happen if the Earth had no core. Underneath 2,900 kilometers of crust and mantle lies the core of our planet. This mighty ball of molten iron has a radius of about 3,500 kilometers and temperatures of 10,000 degrees Celsius. That's even hotter than the surface of the sun. It was formed during the Iron Catastrophe, a major geological event early in the history of our planet when Earth was heated to temperatures above the melting point of iron. Droplets of heavy metals gravitated toward the center of the planet, while lighter elements rose to the surface and formed its mantle and crust. The core's scorching temperatures are the result of energy left over from the formation of Earth and nuclear energy from natural radioactive decay. And it's the motion of the molten metal of the outer core that is responsible for Earth's magnetic field. You know, the thing that protects us from harmful cosmic radiation?
So, how nasty would things turn here if Earth formed minus its core? Well, as you'll see, a world without a core could be disastrous. Now, imagine a world without crippling debt. What could you accomplish if you didn't have high-interest loans and credit card debt looming over you all the time? Well, with Upstart, you can pay off your debt with a personal loan, so you move on with your life. That's why over 1 million people have used Upstart to consolidate their debts into one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. In just 5 minutes, you can check the rate you qualify for on loans from $1,000 to $50,000 without impacting your credit score. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/whatif or click on the link in the description below. That's upstart.com/whatif. And don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/whatif. Upstart could help you rebuild the core of your finances. But below the Earth's crust, we're on our own.
In order to form, planets require iron, lots of it, to fall toward their center. Eventually, this iron becomes their core. Scientists think planets with no core could also exist, which happens when iron becomes oxidized and trapped in a planet's silicate mineral crystals, or mantle. In these cases, the iron doesn't form a core and the planet goes on with its day-to-day existence without a scalding hot sphere at its center. So, what would happen if our very own Earth formed like that? Well, in order to be habitable, a planet requires warmth and water. It needs to be sheltered from a young, violent star like our Sun. A magnetic field acts as a planet's shelter and is created when its core cools and solidifies, distributing the liquid iron around it and sending out electric currents as a result. So, if the Earth formed without its ball of molten iron, it wouldn't have a magnetic field. This would expose us to harmful cosmic radiation and charged particles emitted by our Sun. We'd also be blasted by ferocious solar winds. Without its magnetic field, Earth could lose its atmosphere. Just look at our nearest neighbor Mars for the repercussions of that. Long ago, Mars did have a strong magnetic field, but it wasn't meant to last. The Martian core froze around 4.2 billion years ago, and that dramatically weakened its magnetic field. So weak that it couldn't keep its atmosphere protected. Solar winds mercilessly chipped away at it, slamming into the planet at speeds reaching approximately 800 kilometers per second. So you could guess what would happen to Earth if we didn't have a strong magnetic field like we do now. Instead of being a place warm enough to store salty oceans where life could thrive, our world would end up as a cold, dry, and lifeless desert. If life on this coreless Earth emerged, it would need to adapt to some extreme changes. An intense barrage of UV rays would be a constant threat, as they could damage your DNA. Most likely, you would have to live underground, where you'd be less exposed to cosmic radiation. If you stayed on the surface of a coreless Earth, you'd constantly see flashes of light, even with your eyes closed.
Keep your eyes shut!
This would be the result of cosmic rays passing through your retinas. Without the magnetic field, some animals like birds and whales wouldn't be able to navigate. All life on Earth would have to adapt to living in much harsher environments. But wait, there's more. You wouldn't have all that great technology that relies on our magnetic field. Yeah, that's right. Satellites, telecommunications, and navigation systems, none of them would exist. Well, I don't know about you, but I'd rather be born on Mars than on a planet with no core. And you should probably know that our planet's core is slowly losing heat. Eventually, our hot ball of molten iron will become solid. Scientists predict it would take 91 billion years for the core to go completely solid. Luckily, or not, the sun would run out of fuel, expand into a red giant, and swallow the Earth long before the core gets completely cold. Now, the idea of living on Mars seems much more appealing to me. But you know what? That's a story for another What If.